Welcome to Faithfully Executed, where we discuss this week's headlines as seen through the eyes of your friendly neighborhood drag queen. I'm Carrie the One, and today we'll be talking about the inauguration, the TikTok ban, and the ceasefire in Gaza. It's a lot, so let's get started.
Here we go.
Say goodbye to single-use products and hello to sustainable living with Last Object. Discover Last Object's innovative, reusable alternatives like Last Swab, the sustainable swap for disposable cotton swabs. Help reduce waste and protect our planet. Join the eco-friendly movement today by clicking the Last Object button at faithfullyexecuted.com. Please note that this episode is not sponsored, but this is an affiliate link, and any purchase made will help support the show.
I, Harry S. Truman.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
I, Lyndon Baines Johnson.
I, Richard Milhous Nixon.
I, Jimmy Carter.
I, Ronald Reagan.
I, George Herbert Walker Bush.
I, William Jefferson Clinton.
I, George Walker Bush.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
I, Donald John Trump.
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
So help me God.
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 Good morning, sinners. It's Monday, January 20th, 2025, and holy shit, is there a lot going on. From strictly a personal content perspective, what a week to pick for our first episode. What a week. I had the hardest time picking just a few topics for us to cover this week, but we're here. I'm queer. Buckle up. Let's get into it. So our first topic today is today's inauguration. It is Inauguration Day. It is also MLK Jr. Day, which there's a lot we could have a whole episode just dedicated to the irony of inaugurating this man on MLK Day. But important to note that it is in fact also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, or I guess if you're in Alabama and Mississippi, you can celebrate Robert E. Lee Day too. We could get into that too, but don't forget that there's still a lot of work to do. That's maybe the message. I'll leave it there. But it is Inauguration Day. Donald Trump is set to be inaugurated today, indoors. So it's important to note that the ceremony has been moved indoors due to forecast sub-freezing temperatures. He took to social media on Friday. The statement that he shared reads, "I have ordered the inauguration address, in addition to prayers and other speeches, to be delivered in the United States Capitol Rotunda, as was used by Ronald Reagan in 1985, also because of very cold weather. The various dignitaries and guests will be brought into the Capitol. This will be a very beautiful experience for all, and especially for the large TV audience." Because, of course, it's all about the TV. It's about the ratings. It's about the audience. So, yeah. Inauguration will be held in the Rotunda. Not the biggest deal, unless you ask some of the thousands of people who've flown in from around the country to be there in person at the inauguration. There are a lot of very angry MAGAs who are like screaming and screeching for their money back. They want someone to refund them for their travel costs and their hotel. Sorry, babe. I don't think that's going to work out for you, but you're on a cute little vacation. I don't know what more you want. So the Rotunda is much smaller. Maxes out at about 600 people, so it looks like in terms of who gets to actually be in the room when it happens, probably going to just be VIPs, honored guests, social media CEOs, you know, the movers and shakers of the Washington world. It's interesting that they're choosing to do this in the Rotunda, and I'm sure that on some level it's an intentional choice because some of the most famous images from the January 6th insurrection certainly came from that room as well. So the irony there is not lost on me either. Anybody else is going to have to watch on TV, online. Sorry, brother. There are plenty of other parties and balls and things going on. So I'm sure if you want to get into one of these things, it's probably not that hard. Just, miss me with that. I don't think this is that big of a deal. It kind of made a bunch of headlines the day that they announced it, but I think it's probably a bigger deal to Donald Trump than it is to anybody else. We know this is a guy who's all about putting on a show. He's all about the spectacle of it all. He's all about the attention and making sure everybody's watching him. It probably chaps his ass more than anybody else's because he's not getting his big, like military style parade and all the fanfare that comes with it. So as much as it probably pisses off some of his followers that they're not going to get to be in the room or outdoors with him when it happens, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I just think it's kind of funny. And probably the least exciting thing that's going to happen this week, knowing that he's got potentially dozens, if not hundreds, of these executive orders locked and loaded. So I'm not as worried about the inauguration being outdoors versus indoors. But I guess if you had planned your entire week around being there for it, I can see how that might be annoying. Boo-hoo. You'll live.
Here we go.
Our second topic today is the TikTok ban. Following months of political hot potato between the Democrats and Republicans, the TikTok ban, which Trump first called for 5 years ago, then passed in a bipartisan manner in Congress and upheld by the Supreme Court, was set to take effect on January 19th. And the app was active and available to folks, and then it wasn't, but now it is again. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously to uphold the ban, and Joe Biden had this to say afterward.
What's your take on the TikTok decision today, sir?
Well, the city doesn't name it unexpected anyway, so I think it'll work.
Shortly after the Supreme Court decision, news broke that TikTok CEO Xu Zhiqiu would be in attendance at Trump's inauguration, as will other social media CEOs Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. In a TikTok, Xu said the following of the Supreme Court decision.
Hi everyone, it's Show here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million American businesses who earn a living and gain new customers using our platform. To all American users, thank you for making our TikTok community such a rich and vibrant space, for surprising and delighting us every day. Rest assured, we will do everything in our power to ensure our platform thrives as your online home for limitless creativity and discovery.
As of yesterday, January 19th, TikTok has been restored and remains usable, but with its future still really unclear. A message shown to users logging back in read, "Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the US. You can continue to create, share, and discover all the things you love on TikTok." Now, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of layers to this TikTok ban saga, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So make sure that you're following us on social media at FaithfullyXPod. Let me know what you think about everything that's going on with TikTok. My thoughts, I think the Democrats really fucked this up. I'm sorry. I don't know how you can't see any other takeaway than the Democrats really dropped the ball on this one. This was a ban that was initially proposed 5 years ago by Donald Trump, but went through on the Democrats' watch. Joe Biden signed this law. It's happened under his administration, and now day one of his term, Donald Trump's going to get an easy win. He's swooping in. He's quote unquote saving TikTok, and many of us understand that that's not what's happening here, but that's going to be the message. That's going to be the optics. He gets to claim credit. He's already seeing some of the highest approval ratings he's ever had. Those are going to go even higher now, and importantly, those are likely to go higher with demographics he has struggled with historically, millennials, Gen Z. Folks who use TikTok and who might depend on TikTok for things like their news, their information, their livelihood. There are no small number of people who've made a full-time career either creating content on TikTok or using TikTok Shop and opening a business. I think the Democrats really are either so out of touch or they just don't care. But I don't think they realize how important TikTok is and was to a lot of people. And they're giving Trump this layup on day one, which I think is going to give him political cover for a lot of these really unpopular executive orders he plans on releasing day one. He's going to use it to give that political, that media cover. Like I said, we're looking at dozens probably of these executive orders on day one. And granted, a lot of them will see challenges in court, I'm sure. But just going off of the things Donald Trump has said, and again, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, I don't trust most of what he says. But if we take his word for it, these are some of the things that he's actually promised to do in the past on day one of his term. He's promised to enact, quote, the largest deportation program in American history. We've already seen that it looks like Chicago will be the first place that is raided. in that effort. He's promised to end birthright citizenship in the United States, which is a right that's enshrined in the 14th Amendment. We'll see if it holds up to the next 4 years. He's promised to pardon the January 6th defendants. That one I think we're likely to see probably one of the first things he does. And he's also promised to implement a 25% tariff on products that we import from Canada and Mexico, who are two of our biggest trading partners. All of those things are going to take a back seat to TikTok. He's going to use this win with TikTok and this sort of bowing of the knee that TikTok seems to be doing as cover for some of these really unpopular things that he's going to do early on in his term. We can already see it happening. If anybody who logs into almost any social media platform right now, for the last 24 hours, all I have seen is people either complaining about TikTok being banned, celebrating that it doesn't appear to be banned right now, or talking about it. That noise, that chatter is going to drown out so much of the discourse and so much of the information about some of the other things he's going to do. And the Democrats let him do that. They punted this to him. But Joe Biden point blank said, I'm going to let the next administration deal with this. And I think he's going to regret doing that. Let's be clear. I anticipate that TikTok's likely still going to end up getting banned. It's clear the ban was based on the inability of the US government to control the information that people are sharing on the platform. And there's no reason to believe that Trump's going to see it any differently. The overwhelming response from American users, things like downloading Chinese-owned alternatives, petitions, even some members of Congress have gotten involved. I think that's going to buy them more time, and we see already that there's been an extension here. But as we start to see the impacts of some of Trump's foreign and domestic policy, when we start to see the impact again in places like Gaza, Ukraine, and elsewhere, I don't think he's going to allow the platform to keep going. Certainly not in the form that it is. So I think we're either going to see the ban implemented because this administration is not going to want the things they're going to do in Palestine, in Ukraine, in the United States. They're not going to want that on display. They're not going to want Americans seeing what they're doing like we have for the last 4 years. So he's either going to keep the ban in place, or we're going to see some sort of, I know there's a lot of talk about Meta taking over TikTok. There's a lot of talk about some other American billionaire buying it. I think those are the only two ways that this ends. I don't think that TikTok will be allowed to continue on the way that it is. There's a lot of chatter about what creators are going to do, but I think more importantly, as a consumer of information, as a consumer of media, I think it's really important that you're diversifying where it is that you're getting that information. I'm not going to tell you what platform to go to. There are 1,000 of them. I'm on Rednote. Xiaohongshu. I'm on Lemonade. I'm on all. I've signed up for all of them. I'm on the wait list for Neptune. I've reserved my username on Neptune. But I think as important as it is for creators to diversify, it's going to be even more important for consumers of media to diversify, because I think we're about to see a big shift in American-owned social media to the right. I think we're going to see the Xification of social media continue as it becomes more and more apparent that Trump will not allow companies in that space to operate as independently as they have in the past. And we're already seeing that. We're seeing Meta making massive changes, shifting to their platform to make it look much more like something like X. We're now seeing with TikTok. So I think that trend will continue. And I think it's going to be super important for all of us to really be super intentional and thoughtful about where we're getting our information.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
And our last story today is the ceasefire in Gaza. After more than 15 months of concentrated genocide, apartheid, and mass displacement, a ceasefire has finally been adopted in Gaza. The Israeli cabinet approved the deal Saturday morning, and it went into effect around 8:30 a.m. local time on Sunday, although it's important to note Israel did not start honoring that ceasefire until several hours later. Claiming that Hamas hadn't fully agreed or upheld one or more of their obligations, they continued to bomb Gaza and killed about, I think it was 40 to 50 more people before they actually started upholding their end of the deal with the ceasefire. I'm so angry. This makes me so mad. I'm sorry that this whole episode, like the theme is, Carrie the One is angry at the Democrats, but so be it. I'm, of course, grateful that even the mere potential for progress that comes with the ceasefire is on the table now. But it's hard not to be so incredibly angry at the Biden administration. This deal is almost identical to the one that they offered back in the summer of 2024, May to July. Israel rejected that deal, and there was no pressure or not enough pressure put on Israel to accept the deal. This could have been done months ago. There are plenty of people who disagree with me, but in my opinion, this is a glaring example. This is one of many glaring examples of just how easily Biden could have ended this months and months ago, but just didn't want to. He didn't want to. He didn't want to badly enough. It wasn't important enough to him. So all those times that he and Kamala play the clips, talked about how we're working night and day, tirelessly, round the clock for a ceasefire. Please understand that they were lying directly to our faces. This could have been done months ago. Israel depends on us. The president of the United States could have stopped this at any point and chose not to. Why? We can speculate. We have some pretty good guesses. A lot of it has to do with United States interest in the area. A lot of it has to do with money. A lot of it has to do with power. Only Joe Biden can really answer that question. But the reality is this could have been over months ago, and he chose not to. He chose to let it continue. He chose to keep selling billions and billions of dollars of weapons to Israel. There is blood on his hands, and he will have to reckon with that himself. It also sits really badly with me that there was sort of a delay between the acceptance of the deal and it taking effect. In the time between the announcement of the deal and the time that it took effect, Israel continued bombing Gaza and carried out some of their most deadly attacks yet, killing dozens more people. And reports are that included one of the hostages that Hamas was scheduled to release to Israel as part of the deal. So it's disgusting that a ceasefire wouldn't take effect immediately. And even more so that under our watch and with the weapons we sold them, Israel took that opportunity to destroy even more lives, to destroy even more of Gaza before that deal took effect, which just gives me even less confidence that they're going to continue to uphold this ceasefire. It feels like this is truly just a pause for them, and that as soon as the United States gives them the green light again, and let's be clear, I believe we will. I believe Trump is going to allow the annexation of the West Bank, and then I believe that Trump is going to allow them to continue their impact in Gaza as well. I don't think that Donald Trump is some like savior for Palestine. I don't think that he cares about Palestine. I think he is Team Israel all the way. But I think, again, this is one of those things he's going to take credit for. He's going to get credit for. But this is by no means, I think, going to be a lasting ceasefire, not without some real work being done. And I don't trust the Trump administration to be the folks to get that across the finish line. I want to end this week's episode with a message that I found through Blue Sky from Dropsite, which is an independent journalism team that focuses on the Middle East, Gaza in particular, Palestine and Gaza in particular. It's a message from a journalist named Ahmed Abu Al-Rus. Again, I saw it shared by Dropsite News. They're at Dropsite News on Twitter and on Blue Sky. He recorded it preemptively in the event that he died. He has died. The same day that the ceasefire was announced, he and 3 others were murdered by Israeli forces in a targeted attack on his vehicle in the Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza. You'll hear his words in Arabic. He speaks Arabic, but they translate to the following. And I've spent a lot of time talking about Gaza. We, as a species, have spent a lot of time talking about Gaza, and I think I could keep talking until I'm blue in the face, but these words just hit me so hard, and I think it's the most raw insight to the mindset and perspective of the folks who have spent the last 15 months plus, because again, this did not start on October 7th. But I don't know, this just struck me, and I wanted you all to hear it too. So again, I'll play the clip after this, but the translation of what he's saying is, it's hard. It says, "I got martyred. This is my will a year after this war. Maybe you're watching this video not imagining that I was really martyred, but I am at ease. I am relieved. Happy. Happy for everything I have done for Gaza. Allah bears witness that I fulfilled your trust. We thank Allah. We thank Allah. You all have been an amazing family to me and the best people. I wanted to live more, but Allah wants best. Allah wanted me to be killed as a martyr. This video will be with one person only. She will post it after I get martyred. We ask Allah to give us long life, but if we die, it's not in our hands. I love you all very much. I am now not with you, but I ask you for a favor. Please pray for me every Thursday night. Pray for me. I will need your prayers. Make lots of du'as for me. I will be very happy. Even when I am in the grave, I will be very happy if you remembered my goods, mentioning me in a good way. I am a good person. I love you so much. You are the best thing that happened to me.
أنا استشهدت. هذه وصية لي بعد سنة من الحرب. يمكن أنتوا تحضروا الفيديو هذا مش متخيلين خبر استشهادي، لكن أنا كتير مرتاح، مبسوط من كل حاجة عملتها في غزة، ويشهد الله أن أديت الأمانة على أكمل وجه. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. ويشهد الله كنتوا خير أهل إلي، خير ناس، وكان نفسي إني أعيش بزيادة، لكن خلص ربنا ما شاءش إني أشوفكم، ربنا شاء إني أرتقي شهيد. الفيديو هذا حيكون مع شخص واحد حينشره بعد ما أستشهد. نسأل الله أن يدينا طول العمر، لكن لو استشهدت خلص مش بإيدي. أنا كتير بحبكم، وأنا الآن خلاص مش موجود عندكم، بس بدي منكم طلب. في كل ليلة خميس تذكروني في دعوة، ادعوا لي، حكون محتاج دعواتكم هذه. ادعوا لي كتير، حكون مبسوط منكم. وحتى وأنا في القبر حكون مبسوط لو كل حدا منكم نشر عني بالخير وذكرني بالخير. أنا إنسان كتير منيح، بحبكم كتير، انتوا أحلى حاجة صارت في حياتي والله.
There are a lot of other headlines that I've been watching this week, including the ongoing fires in Los Angeles, the dangerous polar vortex set to impact most of the country early on in this week, and the continued rise in bird flu cases in states across the country. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to follow and share. Leave a little review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow me on all the socials and let me know what topics and headlines you want to hear on next week's episode. If once a week just isn't enough faithfully executed content to keep you satisfied, join the Club Carry VIPs for behind-the-scenes peeks at what I'm working on and exclusive bonus content every single week. And don't forget to check out lastobject.com for your sustainable, reusable personal care product needs. Click on over to faithfullyexecuted.com for these and all the other links I mentioned today. That's all I've got for today, y'all. Until next week, I'm Carrie the One, and I'll see y'all next week for all the good, the bad, and the treasonous right here on Faithfully Executed.